Hi, I'm Jacob, and I've been designing the Riverside Ruins level for Jungle Gym, and I'm just gonna go through this and talk about it. We both know why you're here. So yeah, the player starts in this, isolated little area. They have nowhere else to go. They can't actually get up there. So they have nothing to do but walk forward, and there's some left and right movement. They're forced to move left and right, which normally this auto pivot would be turned on, and you can see that too. Now most players will already know this stuff, but I still wanted to have a brief introduction to that. Same with this jump, space jumps, easy enough. There's a little pit here that you can jump over. Is this here? Now this one, if you just press jump, you won't actually clear it. You have to hold jump. Same with this wall. Now, I did that because I pushed towards it, but if you just press jump, you won't actually reach it, and so the player then learns that they need to hold jump, and that's when they'll also learn about the ledge grabbing. Jim can grab ledges and whatnot. And they sort of start off in this little chasm area with some hints of ruin starting to show up. And there's also, for experienced players, there's the alternate path here, which is a little bit quicker. Other players might be clued in here because of these coins. And this is used later for a secret spot here. I just put the ball here for now, but normally it would be in a cave later on. Short little skippable cutscene, and there'd be a secret collectible up there. We're planning to have one in each level. But yeah, the player makes it up to here, and they'll start to see a couple things. The first thing is this, this red area here. They might be curious to step into it. I plan to have some kind of camera icon in the middle of this, sort of rotating in space. That way it's a little apparent that, hey, this is probably a cutscene. They could also optionally just skip the cutscene. After the cutscene plays out, they'd see this mural on the wall here that kind of instructs the player about the interaction mechanic. And so what they could do is go ahead and place that down with the color coordinated area, and that would open up this wall, and the cutscene would also disappear. I am going to step into the cutscene though, just so you can kind of see an idea. And this is a skippable cutscene, so I won't go through the whole thing. I'm going to skip it. But this is where this talking ball character, it looks like the shader didn't compile very quickly there. I'm playing this in the editor, so the shaders aren't compiling very quick. But yeah, there's this talking wall character that will kind of give a player their more clear objective, which is to get the ball similar to this one and bring it right here so that they can get the treasure that's hidden behind him. And you can also manually talk to him, and his dialogue will change based on the current state of where you're at solving the puzzles. But yeah, I can go ahead and open up this wall, and then because I awoken him, he'll talk to me a little bit after. If I just skipped him, he wouldn't have said anything. And then once you open up this wall, this is where it opens up into the, I just realized my audio's still on. This is where it opens up into the bigger playground area, where the player actually starts to learn, the core mechanics of the movement. Since this is the first level, all we're really focused on teaching them is the movement they have immediately at their disposal, which there's quite a lot. If the player already knows everything, there's this gap above the wall here that they can jump up to with a trick jump. Basically, it just involves hopping up here and then diving up there. I'm not going to do that yet. We're going to go this way. Okay, and this NPC that pops up here sort of reinforces the interaction. And it also just sort of prefaces that there's going to be more NPCs like him scattered around that the player can talk to if they want to get extra tips and information. Because some players might need a little more direction, others might not, so they're completely optional. That's the same reason this cutscene was optional. You know, players that want to guide themselves don't even have to engage in it, and if they accidentally do, they can still just skip it. But from here, the player, right now they're rubber ducks, but the player starts to have sightlines for several collectibles in the level, as well as coins. These ones don't matter as much. They look flashier right now though, because the other ones we don't have a model for. They'll be like totem spiritual figures that the player collects. But they'll start to see several of them, and that should help clue them in that, hey, yeah, I should probably start to get these. As well as when they just walk around, they'll start to see murals that sort of explain the mechanics to them. And if they don't quite understand it, that's what Tut here is for. And he'll explain it for you, as well as some like other helpful tips that the player might enjoy for players that want more in-depth info. And you notice the sightlines here, the whole level starts to curve this way. And I did that very intentionally. Is OBS recording the right window? Okay, I really had to make sure. Oh goodness. This way because if you look at the top-down view, this is like a smaller area than this here. Now obviously it doesn't really matter if they go this way either, but I sort of want the player to feel like they're not being overwhelmed with too much stuff at once. And so steering them into this little tucked away area sort of helps them naturally adjust to everything. So here they learn the triple jump, and as well as the double jump, which they can use to get up here, and to get this collectible. And the triple jump is mostly for right here as well, so that the player can go ahead and grab that. Now if they did that way first, or if they went down here on the bridge, they'll end up seeing that mural over there, as well as one that's, you know, it's just text right now, but there will be one there. But yeah, if they were to go this way, I sort of have this ramp here in the hopes that they'll see the movement, or the momentum mechanic a little bit here, and understand that, oh hey, running down slopes makes me run faster. These won't be here. I left these here on accident because I was testing them. These aren't going to be in this level. They'll be in other levels. But yeah, assuming they go from there or here, they might go ahead and see this mural here, which basically just explains the auto-pivoting and the ability to lock it, you know, whenever the player wants. There's also this wall jump mural here, which basically just would show, hey, you can wall slide, and if you press jump, you'll jump while doing it. And this one here, this one's the hardest to like try to naturally teach a player. Basically what they do is they go up to a wall, and either before, during, or just after touching the wall, they flick the stick towards it and they'll take a step up, basically getting them some additional height. And they have to do that to get up here. They can't just wall jump to get up. They would have to do the step and then wall jump. They could also, you know, find their own way to get up with a triple jump. But that's part of the fun. This wall jump guy, both down there and up here, they also explain a couple other things. I'll go ahead and get up here first before I explain those. But the player gets this. You can hop on down. If the players were to talk to them, they would explain more advanced techniques, such as the reflective wall jump. Now the normal one, it's perpendicular to the wall. Basically, it'll always go perpendicular to it. But the reflective one will be angled based on the angle of approach to the wall. So they both have different situational uses, really. So the angled one is pretty useless here, right? But if I were to do the perpendicular, the standard one, it gets me exactly where I want to go. But yeah, after the player delves into that, they have a lot wider options. A lot of players might see the slope first and go down the slope. Some other ones might notice that mural over there and jump across. And the order doesn't really matter, because eventually, no matter which way they go, they'll see both of these directions. Let's just go down this way. So this is the slope sliding. Basically, it just shows the player, hey, things like this on slopes, you will slide down. Just a neat little introduction to that, I suppose. That guy wasn't supposed to be there either. There's also this mural here. This is an advanced technique, so I didn't want to make this too necessary for the level, but I still wanted to include it and show that it's here. This is what we call a slide jump, where basically when you're diving through the air, you can hold crouch when landing to enter a slide, and if you jump out of the slide early, or at a high speed, you'll get more horizontal distance, and if you wait, you'll get more vertical distance. So it introduces timing and rhythm to the player's movement, and this is like a really core part of the movement in Jungle Gym. So I wanted to have a way to show players this. I will also have a tuck guy here to explain this. I just have not quite done that yet. I actually forgot until recording this here. So I'm going to add another one of those NPCs to talk to that clarifies this. And I believe I think I threw the cartwheel on here. No, it's a slide jump. The cartwheel's in there. There's this path here as well that the player will probably naturally go to, and in the cutscene they actually have seen this place before. The camera sort of cut here and, you know, showed that this was their main objective. And this is what the player is going to want to pick up and take back up there. We'll do that in a second. Okay, because there's still some more things that I want to show off around here. So we do show this. Okay, I guess that's just rolling. We do show this fairly early. It's not like tucked away or hidden. We want it to be out in the center and pretty obvious to see, because a lot of players were having a hard time understanding that they were supposed to bring that up there, and that's why we added that talking wall in the first place. Players new to the genre, at least, which are a part of our target audience. You'll see this mural back here, though, which basically just shows the camera zooming in and out. And there's also this coin on the tree, which players might, try to get up to, and they'll discover that they can actually climb on the trees. And that kind of opens up a lot of other possibilities for them. Possibly if they go the other way up there first, or they see from up there that there are coins on top of this, they'll discover, oh hey, I can totally just climb up a tree, use the wall step, and get out, and they can grab those coins. So this section in here, this whole little area here is basically just to show off the attacking. Now this isn't really a combat game. Enemies act more as obstacles where the player has to sort of input to get through them. But you'll see here the twirl attack, and you can also bounce on these guys. They actually have a bubble, so they'll give you a boost when you bounce off of them. And they'll just infinitely spawn from this pond here. And over here they'll see that the dive kick and the cartwheel will also damage them. Almost died there. They'll feel more encouraged to use the cartwheel as sort of like a quick way to blitz right through them. And the NPC up there also explains that if you time a jump properly, the cartwheel can give you a boost in your jump. That's another sort of high skill level execution that most players don't really need, but it's really cool to sort of find out. Yeah, this guy here. And then this is where the players will learn about the flip kick mechanic, which basically is the player's way to reorient themselves in the air, as well as do damage. This will also hurt things. And to show that, we have these orbs here, where once you actually damage them, you get boosted. And there's also this section right behind, where we'll essentially just gonna have another collectible up here for the player to get. For now, we go up here though, where the collectible they saw from the start is hiding at, and they can collect. And from here, the player would most definitely see all that stuff over there. They also might have seen it when they first drop off. Again, this is sort of an open area for the player to experiment and just have fun exploring and learning. I'll go over this thing a little bit more later, actually, because that's more involved in the actual process of taking the collectible back up. But right here is where they learn the long jump, which, it's a long jump. You just hold, crouch, and you jump across. A lot of players that don't have experience with these kinds of games actually have a hard time understanding what a long jump is. So it's still helpful for them to have a TUT NPC explaining it. And this is also where they learn the dive. So this section is basically, you learn the horizontal movement that Jim can do. It's sort of separated in this up here being sort of more generalized movement with some good verticality. You have the attack area over there, and we have the horizontal area here. And sprinkled throughout are little bits like the slide jump and the camera, and you'll see another one there. That's basically just showing you how to get stuff in the water. But yeah, this is where you learn the dive kick, which gets you across here. A long jump will not give you the height needed to actually get up there. You have to do a dive kick, or you could just do a flip kick, but players have tended to use the dive kick, and here they need to use the dive kick. Sort of break this wall down and get up. Right. And if they combine what they've learned, they can long jump, dive over here. And if players were to, let me get back up here. If players were to have fallen down doing one of these, they might discover this tucked away little cave area here. It's not that hard to see, but bonk. Oh, his animation didn't change. That's silly. Good thing I know how to reset that. But yeah, this is when they would first learn about swimming. This also might happen up there. It could happen anywhere they fail above water, and I've added a lot of opportunities for that to happen. And from there, they can see this cave, and they see things floating in the water. So I do think many of the players have had no problems knowing that they can swim. But you come into this cave, and this is where you see the ground path. Another staple from platformers. And there's this box here that you can just ground pound through. When you collect these coins, this map becomes a little more apparent. This is related to the secret collectible in the level. Where, you see the X and the circle, the boats and the barrels, and the table, and this is the room that the player is in. And they'll kind of connect that once they see the boats and the barrels And they'll especially connect it when they see the giant circle up here. And this is something that they can ground pound through. And this is where that red ball that I mentioned at the start would be at. It'd be right here. And this red arrow, okay, I'll have to fix these. Usually you just break these open, but I suppose that part's not working. That camera also looks a little strange. This is all still a work in progress, but I'm discussing just the level. These ones work. We'll have a glow, and my audio is turned off, but you might hear a sound faintly. I have it turned down pretty low. But there'll be a glow and a sound to sort of show this collectible here. This one just has a coin in it, just sort of to help reinforce that ground pound. Yeah, and I had these floating in the water on the off chance that players try to bounce on them, so they can see that they can and that they'll break. These are essentially just coconuts. When you hit a tree, they drop coconuts. You can pick these up and use them as weapons. You can do some like, well, it broke because I hit it, but you can do some crazy stuff with it. To get that collectible out here, you'll essentially have it in the water, and since you can't carry stuff in the water, you can just spin and smack it to where you need to go. These will just break though. But yeah, let's go ahead and take that collectible up there, complete the main objective. We'll bonk this guy with it. This is the most busted strategy right now, is doing that. But yeah, so now the player is tasked with taking this back up, but you know, when you're holding this, you can't dive, you can't cartwheel, you can't attack. You can, well, you know, it hits them when you hit them with it, so I guess you can, but your movement options are very limited. And players probably will not know how to do all of these things that I have, but some players will. So there's sort of alternate routes you can take here. For one, the player will discover that, yeah, you cannot grab ledges when you're holding this. And players won't be able to get up to there unless they do the double, triple jump, or they do a side somersault. So players that try to go this way first will just have to hop across. Players that kind of, you know, understand that they're not going to make it, they can also just go this way. And this takes them all the way back here, so they're closer, much closer to getting us back up there. But they're not quite there. And so this reintroduces some of these other areas the player probably has been through, and shows them some things that they probably have not encountered yet. Such as this, which sort of clues them into crouching, because they cannot just walk into it. Okay, here's an instance of the ball in the water. Player can just smack it. Yeah, and they can just walk up this way and jump across, and then they're there. And they could also jump across the water here and hop up here. Yeah, so there's several different routes the player could go about doing this, and it's really, it's not that hard. But it exercises the observational skills, which are going to be important for future levels. Planning out a route and understanding what happens if you fail a route. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take this over here and get that treasure that's hidden behind him, just like he told us. Well, I skipped the cutscene, but he does say it. Okay, he disappears, opens the way, and then the level-ending objective is showcased. Right now, it's just a golden T-posing gem. This section is basically going to be a final challenge, a really short one, to cap off their experience and reinforce what they've learned. I wouldn't say this area is complete yet. You can already tell it looks a lot less complete than this area. But also in terms of block out, there's some more things that we're going to do here. So their goal is to get up there. And they're going to have to reach that exit over there. There's also this slope here, which could reinforce the momentum mechanic. And they could hop up that way, if they so choose. This entrance down here is actually going to be in the middle here, and we're going to make the way to get this collectible different and better, because right now there's no reason for the player to actually come down here, unless they accidentally fall. So we're gonna work on that. So this could reinforce the long jump. Ooh, I did a coyote long jump. That's like a hidden tech. And this will also show them, if they don't quite make it, that you can grab a ledge after a long jump. And if they really just don't have the skill to do that, they can also just jump across back here. And some more exploratory players might catch on that you can jump up here and get across this way. Pro players like myself, we just jump up because the triple jump allows you to get that kind of height. Now the dive kick, notice the dive kick doesn't actually take the player across here. It's a lot easier to execute a dive kick for horizontal distance compared to a long jump. So the dive kick just ain't gonna cut it here. We wanted to show the player that, hey, the long jump is better for distance actually. But the dive kick can still work here for the players that struggled with the long jump. They can still just dive kick across, or they can long jump across as well. We're also planning to have actually a bounce flower here, so that players can bounce their way right up here, and if they want to reinforce that wall step or their double jump, they can choose to do that as well. Okay, and we sort of have this smaller section in here. This is more just to acquaint players with Jim's momentum a little bit more. I forgot to mention it before, but when holding the ball and trying to get up that stone area, that was really just to show how Jim's momentum works. You'll see he sort of builds up speed a little. So constant execution is rewarded by moving quicker. So it's important to understand like how the momentum actually works. There's also, they can just climb up here. They could even hop across here. Ooh, I've never seen that guy do that before. That's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and kill him. He's not that important. Right? But yeah, they would basically just hop up here. They could also do some crazy stuff to get up. But for lower skilled players, they can wait for the platforms and just jump across them. And this sort of open area up here, that's where that green enemy was just at. This is where we want to finally just reinforce some of the combat a little bit. Sort of introduce that to the player as something that is going to be a normal part of game flow. And that chameleon guy is actually a little tougher than the other ones. Too bad he bugged out and jumped all the way over there. But when the player approaches to try to do something like a spin, he'll just jump over and he'll attack the player from a distance. That's the kind of thing the player needs to do the cartwheel or the dive kick to sort of combat against. But yeah, collectibles just up here now. There's just a small little platforming challenge here, just to make sure the player understands some of the fundamentals of it and observing space. So players can just, go the easy way, have a close call. That's a bit exciting. But players can take it the easy way. or they can, you know, be a little more skilled about it, and then eventually reach the collectible, which basically just ends the level. He is spasming out a little bit. It's never happened. But yeah, they'll get this, you know, this end screen, and that's like the end of the level. And that's essentially Riverside Ruins as it is. It's designed as a tutorial first and foremost. That's why it's skippable. You can beat this in 20 seconds if you try. But the intended playtime is more like 8 to 12 minutes, and in the playtests we've done, it's fallen into that playtime. So I think we're doing a very good job about the pacing here, and trying to sort of pace all the information they have to learn about the movement. And we won't expect players to remember everything, because there is a lot to the movement in this game. That's one of its main hooks, right? But it's really important because of that they understand how many options they have, so that the player can have the freedom of movement that we want them to have. Here I can kind of show skipping that, and I can skip that too. It disappears, and he never woke up, so you cannot talk to him. The collectibles already collected are now red, basically saving and loading stuff, yada yada. But yeah, this freedom of movement is going to be really important for us to incorporate in all of our levels. That's why there's so many alternate routes going on here. I'll sort of blitz through some of these areas to sort of better explain, or better show what I mean by that, because there really is like a lot that the player can do in this game. We want them to be able to navigate as they want. I actually fell over here. I was gonna do something cool, but then I messed it up. Yeah, the player can even just hop across right there. For future levels, there's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, heck, for this level, there's still a lot of work to be done. Mostly just in that end area. But I do think we're doing a really good job so far. And this is honestly the hardest level to make because it's a tutorial. And we want to, you know, try to teach as much as we can, all the things we want. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this video here soon. If you actually watched this entire thing, thank you. Level design is something I've been interested in for like my entire life. And it's really nice to actually have a chance to do it. But yeah, thank you.